welcome back everybody to another episode of TeaLimePie. This is episode 9, and we have a very special request for this episode, which I'm really excited to listen to. One of our listeners, Shell, entered a story for us to read. I'm very excited.
Yeesh. I can't wait.
For those of you who have never been here before, my name's Slime Jello Monster. I'm here with my very good friend, Coffee Ghostea.
Hello.
And we read your internet ghost stories. Today we're starting off with one that's my ghost is nice.
Yeah.
We don't usually get nice stories.
No, I think this will be the second thing that I can think of, along with Jeffrey, the gamer ghost.
Jeffrey.
Our beloved Jeffrey.
I forgot about Jeffrey.
Actually, Knocked Shell, in fact, brings up Jeffrey a lot, so I can't forget Jeffrey.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I love it. I'm here for it.
Yeah. All right,
Okay,
we'll have another favorite nice ghost, hopefully.
Oh, I want to draw art of that. Just like us and Jeffrey in the background playing video games.
Oh my gosh, yes, please.
Okay, my ghost is nice. I've been experiencing paranormal things for the past few years, like banging, closing doors, things like that. But I think my ghost is friendly. I went to bed yesterday, having a nap, and all my plates in my kitchen were not clean and all untidy. This might be the best ghost in the entire world.
This is about to be... Can I, steal this ghost?
Can we rent a ghost? I woke up and I went into the kitchen and they were all put back on the shelves and clean. Like, just came out of the dishwasher. Okay, I don't believe this for a second, but I love it.
Love that for them.
I had another experience today where I was super cold all of a sudden. My blanket fell on top of me. Oh. I don't know, since it was a good 5 feet away from me, but it kind of just fell on me. If things like that happen to me anymore, I actually won't be mad or scared. That's amazing.
Hell yeah.
I want this ghost.
Me too.
I tucked her in.
Yeah. That's so cute. I'm trying to see. Nobody asked if they have a roommate, but I feel like they would have mentioned if they have a roommate.
Yeah.
Did.
They do have a roommate. Is our ghost.
Yeah, that's true. Aw, that's so sweet. I needed a heartwarming ghost story today.
I know, right?
Hell yeah. Ugh.
Or the guy who sleeps in your attic.
Dude, I get so scared of that sometimes. We watched a movie where people were doing that. It's called Frogging. When they, go live in a space in your house that you don't occupy. Like, if you have, an attic or, a spare room that they pay attention.
I read a story about that.
That movie was really good, but I got so freaked out by that. I'm like, anytime Mabel's, barking at or huffing at something before bed and our doors closed, I'm like, it's just the dude in the attic just going down for a cup of water.
I can see you going around with a stethoscope against your walls, just knocking to see if there's a secret door.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if there was. Around here we have so many weird, it's an old house, so we have a lot of weird nooks and crannies, so I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah. But that's the first thing I think of is it's just the attic person coming down for water.
Before we get into Knock's story, I just wanna, this is completely out of nowhere, and I'm so sorry, guys. So Doug's been watching these Is it a ghost? You decide videos on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
And there was one where the guy was going around an old asylum or whatever. He was an urban explorer. And a bunch of the doors closed.
Oh.
And they're like, well, it obviously isn't the wind because they all closed. And I'm like, that's not how wind works.
Yeah.
The wind does not just decide that this is the door I'm going to close. The rest of them, I will go around.
Yeah. It goes through many pathways, my guy.
Yeah. It can't be the wind because they all closed. That doesn't make any sense.
They've defined a new way of how air works, apparently.
Yeah, so he's been watching these videos, and I've literally been sitting behind him in my chair, like looking over his shoulder, going, "That's not right."
Awesome.
Anyway, that's my little story.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, science people, science. I'm supposed to be like the believer, and sometimes I'm like, no, that's not how things work, dude.
My mom, sorry, mom, she listens to our podcast now.
My meme.
And she is so like critical of us.
Oh no, I'm sorry.
Like, it could have been this and this and this and this, and you guys are just giggling. She's such a hardcore believer. So I can't believe you said that about this thing. Like, Mom.
I'm
Please.
so sorry, Mom. This is just how we are. I'm sorry.
Couple of goofballs.
Yeah. All right. Well, Noctshell's story is not necessarily ghost story. It's more of a occult kind of deal.
Ooh.
I'm really excited. So, spooky adjacent, you know.
I love spooky Jason.
Yeah. All right. So, my best friend, 15 at the time, and me, 16 at the time, went through our city on New Year's. Around here, we celebrate it with fireworks and all that. Also, lots of explosions, booms, and bangs. This is Germany, by the way.
Oh, okay.
We then passed the abandoned brewery, which, funnily enough, is directly opposite of the new brewery. We talked about how we never explored the old brewery and how we had nothing else to do because we were broke. So we snuck our way in, and we needed to climb some stairs to get inside. It was your average old brick house factory, if that makes sense. I should mention that it was before the time of smartphones with flashlights.
Of course. Of course it is.
Classic. The olden times.
You ever notice how that's when all the you can't see me, but I'm quotation marking the paranormal evidence.
Yep. As we entered on the first floor, nothing out of the ordinary, just a big open space with one room, probably an office to the storage space. Only think we almost missed was a hole in the middle of the room, just enough for a human to fit through. My friend, let's call him Dave, almost fell down because he wasn't paying attention. We tried to see how deep the hole went, but it was too dark to see the bottom, but it wasn't a shaft, just a hole that led to another big room. We were thinking about jumping down, but we saw stairs inside the building, so we obviously decided to go the safer route. Oh, man.
Chickens.
Live on the edge. One thing I felt was weird was the absence of spider webs. Not sure if this was a sign for anything, though. Yeah, you'd think an abandoned building would be pretty, disgusting, right? Anyway, we went down, and things got dark real quick. We could barely see, and there was no old stuff lying around, no debris whatsoever. This has been abandoned for years now. Who cleaned up this building? just a quick note, when Noct was sending this, he left it here at this part for like a few days. I'm like, what happened?
Oh, really?
What happened? You can't just leave it there.
He didn't send you the whole thing?
No. It was a lot to type, so I didn't blame him, but I was like,
I mean, I guess, but like, days?
Like, you're leaving me on the edge of my seat, dude.
That's so good.
So this is part 2. When we reached the next floor down, we were greeted with wide arcs of brickstone. It seemed like a sewer more than a basement, and it seemed like stretches out for miles. We found the room under the hole for the first floor, and I guess we found all the debris we were expecting. It went all down this hole. Interesting.
That's how I would clean an abandoned building. And be like sweeping and just like drop it down the hole.
Yeah, that's what he says next. I wish I had a hole like this at home.
Yeah.
Same. This is our cleaning debris hole. Just quickly put a rug over it. Don't mind. Anyway, we moved on. My friend jokingly mentioned maybe we can find a way to the active brewery and get some free beer. We laughed, and then teenage stupidity set in, and we said, let's do it, of course. We moved towards the general direction of the active brewery. I should have mentioned earlier, our only light source was a Zippo lighter. Oh, God.
Oh, my God.
Oh.
This is really old.
Yeah.
You're back in the day.
Thankfully, it was winter, so we had gloves on, but we still needed to take some breaks in pitch black darkness, so we didn't burn our gloves and hands. That'd be a nope for me.
Yeah.
No complete darkness for me, please. It was a mix of the mind making things up and the disturbingly extreme silence with the deafened booms from the fireworks outside, which started to creep us out.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. We finally reached a dead end, a gutter closing off the way to the active brewery. We must have crossed 2 streets, that is in between the abandoned and the active brewery, just underground, of course. As we turned around, we saw graffiti, which shouldn't be surprising because abandoned building, but it was so far the first one we saw. I cannot remember what it exactly looked like, but it directed us to a walk left. Oh, I wouldn't follow graffiti signs. Since we didn't get to the brewery, maybe we could find something else. Maybe someone knew another way and left pointers. Oh, no.
Oh, boy.
Gamer instincts are like, that's a trap. That's a trap.
Yeah, literally.
So we followed the signs. We must have followed them for a good 30 minutes until we thought maybe they just messed with us and were going in circles. But then we reached a room with a bunch of signs or runes. Ooh.
Oh.
Something that could be used as a bar, tables and chairs, maybe like the rest of an underground party. But there's no trash. Even the bottom of the hole didn't have anything that would indicate a party. There were quite a few rooms to the left and right. Why are there so many rooms so far away from the stairs? We got creeped out more and more every time we had to kill the lighter. Yeah, because it got too hot, and sometimes the light became shorter and shorter. Yeah.
Oh my God.
We always waited in silence until the light bearer snapped the light back on. There was a few empty rooms, but covered in weird things in a few rooms with stone slabs. They didn't look like tombs, and they were
What the fuck?
the only thing not covered in writings. But then a room further, we finally got an indication that this might be a cult meeting we barely missed. The room was filled with clothes, like normal, quote-unquote normal clothes. I would have expected goth or metal clothes, to be honest, if it was just an underground party, giving the location, but the clothes, people with a healthy relationship to their family would wear.
Alright, I feel a little called out right now.
I don't know how to describe it because I don't want to call it normal. Anyway. Oh my god. We went to the room before the clothing room, let's call it the changing room, to discuss what the clothes are doing here and why are they still here but nothing else. Did they get lost down here and threw away their clothes? Nah. Did they get caught, kidnapped, and dragged down here? Nah. Why would they keep the clothes laying around? We came up with all sorts of horror scenarios. At this point, we were very freaked out and we thought about leaving, and in hindsight, I wish we had. We agreed to go just a bit further. Maybe one room later, we find out why people got naked. And we got to a larger room with banks to sit on in a big circle on the ground, and it looked like something was spilling out of the hole days ago. It was liquid at one point, but by the time we got here, it dried. My friend looked at me with a horrified face and said, I think people got sacrificed here.
What?
At the time, it made sense, even in hindsight, why leave the clothes, but you best know we ran out like hell. That's the end.
Oh my god.
Ugh.
Okay, so my first thought is squatters.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
But, like, I can't explain the ceremony room.
Yeah, with a big, like, symbol on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a little harder to deny.
It sounds like fun, though. Like, not with the lighter.
The sacrificing or the...
No! No! I mean, it depends on who. No! The, exploring, like, dark tunnels of an old brewery.
Yeah.
It sounded like they were in, like, an underground city.
Yeah, dude, that sounds huge down there. That's crazy. That would be fun.
I would totally do it. With a flashlight, though.
Yeah, not a lighter. Y'all are crazy for the lighter.
And it was on New Year's. It could have totally been like a ritual thing.
Oh, for the New Year. Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. Ugh.
And they had heard fireworks already, so it means New Year's had hit.
Right. Oh. I'm glad they weren't there while you guys went down there. That would have been, if you like walked in on that, I think you'd be part of the ceremony after that.
I feel like if the clothes were still there, then so were they. They were just in like another room because they said there were a bunch of these rooms and they stopped exploring when they found the...
Oh, God, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I keep forgetting they're like normal clothes and not like... I was still picturing like robes. Yeah. Maybe they were in their robes somewhere else. Yeah. Ooh. Yeah, I'm glad you guys were safe and didn't run into anybody down there, but...
On a side note, I'm on my way to Germany. I kind of want to check this out. I'm bringing flashlights.
Hell yeah. We'll come explore more with you, Noct. Yeah, when we read, I don't remember which episode it was, but there's that episode where it was a German writing the story, and they're like, German people don't like horror things and think it's stupid. I'm like, I have a friend that likes horror
Strongly disagree. Strongly disagree.
Yeah. Anyway. Yeah, that's... Ugh. Yeah, crazy. It's one of those things where you're already kind of creeped out by yourself. Like, your imagination goes places, and then you find stuff like that. Like...
Yeah. Imagine it was just like someone playing a prank, though. They're like, if we leave this clothing here, someone will come across it
and be really freaked out. We'll leave pig's blood on the floor or something. Let's hope it was that, but don't have a good feeling that that is the case.
No.
Ooh.
Yeah. I'm like freaked out for them.
Yeah.
Like, this happened years ago.
Right.
But I'm, like, currently freaked out for Noct and Dave.
Oh, yeah, Dave.
I like how he said we'll call him Dave, but it was never mentioned again in the story.
Yeah. It's implied. Is this Dave? Good old Dave.
Good old Dave.
Well, thank you, Noct, for sending the story. I liked it. Well, I don't like the situation for you that you were potentially in danger, but as a spooky story, it was a good story.
It was a good story. It was a very good story. These are like the kind of things I like.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. That and my ghost tucking me in at night.
Yeah, what? I need one of those.
I'm gonna like request a smooch on the forehead next time.
Yeah. Gentle forehead kiss, please. All right, we got one more story today, and this one I wanted to read as well because it's called "The House I Grew Up In Gave Me Undeniable Evidence That Ghosts Exist." So I feel like we need Lime's
I feel
opinion.
like I can deny it.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
This might be the story that changes you. You never...
Oh, maybe. I want to believe in ghosts so bad because they look like so much fun.
It looks like so much fun. Looks like a great hobby. I just can't.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you might be a different person after this. We'll see.
It's a little too short.
Well,
For some undeniable proof.
maybe it's really compelling. You don't need a lot of words to be convincing.
It's true.
All right, let's find out. So way back when, about 18 years ago or so ago, I lived in a small town up north in the States. Old 2-story house in the middle of town, nothing too out of the ordinary. When we first moved in, everything was normal for the most part. Couple bedrooms upstairs, kitchen, bathroom downstairs, and a large cellar with giant hatch door in the kitchen with a weird crawl space that went under the kitchen. I want a cool giant hatch door.
Yeah.
Whenever I see those in movies, I'm like, fuck yeah, that looks cool.
I never showed you, but there's one at the cottage. It leads under the house.
What?
It's very cool.
Next time.
Mm-hmm.
Fast forward a few months, we're all settled in, and unexplainable things just start happening. Started off with small things. Weird sounds with what seemed like no origin. Lucid visions in the evening, both in and around the property. But as these went on and on with all 4 people in the home, they became centralized to that crawl space. Most of it involved corpses being stuffed in there.
With the hallucinations?
I think so.
Oh, I don't like that.
Which we have come to think, given the history of the town, was very possibly used for just that. Later on came things moving. First thing we noticed was the dining room chairs. All 6 looked like they had been pushed away from the table when we always put them upside down on the table due to dogs jumping up. Oh. And then more malicious acts started happening as well. A couple that stick out is we kept feeling like we were being pushed down the cellar stairs. And one other time we were watching TV, my mom had an iron cooling off in the cellar, and we slowly started smelling something burning. And after searching for a couple minutes, we found the clothes iron that was off on full power, face down, on an area rug in the cellar where we had it. In the end, it ended up being one of the main reasons we moved out of the house. We moved out of state, and we're done with it, with the feeling of an angry spirit in the house. We couldn't find any real history of the house except when it was built, so we don't know if there was any type of weird history. We just know that there were way too many encounters to just shrug it off.
That's a sinister ghost right there.
Yeah. If it's like tipping your iron over to start a fire, like, fuck that.
That ghost is coming for you.
Yeah. Oh, what if the visions weren't from, like, past bodies? What if it was if they stayed like the
Oh,
ghosts?
like their bodies.
Yeah. I
Ooh.
just gave myself goosebumps. Ooh. Yeah, that's creepy.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
Oh, yes, you're right. Okay, so I'm looking at the comments.
Oh.
It says, on top of all that, it wouldn't let me put it, hold on. Body into the post. I know me and my mom both had dreams. We were basically forced into that hole and ran under the kitchen as well.
Yeah.
Gave us both visions of bodies piled up. Wow.
Oh. Yeah. As soon as they left the house, everything just stopped happening to us. Yeah. Creepy. Yeah, and it like taking the chairs off the table, like it's one thing if you're like, oh, maybe we just forgot to push the chairs in, but if you know you're like flipping them on top of the table and then they're just off the table, like that's a little weird.
I wonder if like anyone in their house has a history of sleepwalking.
Maybe. But they said it all
like,
stopped after they left the house, though.
For now.
For now. This was 18 years ago.
Oh, yeah. For now, a long time.
Oh.
I'm sorry. It did not change. It did not change me.
Dang it.
Yeah. We'll try again next time.
We'll try again. Do better, Reddit.
But if you guys want us to read your stories like Ghostea just read, Nox, please feel free to email us at TeaLimePiePodcast@gmail.com. We will leave a link in the description below, or you could reach out to us in the comments and we will drop all of our social medias and stuff if you want to share some ghost stories of yours.
Yeah.
Or if there's like anything that you've heard of that you want us to read. It doesn't have to be your experience specifically.
Yeah, definitely. There's only so many posts we can look at a day. So if you have anything you've seen, like, definitely send it over.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us for TeaLimePie. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you, Noct, for sending in that story, and we'll see you all next time. Good night.
Sleep tight.